Happy Halloween! Woo! Don't like that. I forgot I'm broadcasting on from the Poindexter Lounges as well, so I got to fix my settings. I don't like that layout because my head is too big for that screen. There we go. Happy Halloween. Happy Tuesday. Happy everything. One more day left in October. Then we head into November, and 2023 is almost over with. We're gonna head into 2024 pretty soon. Phew. Weather's fine. Couple more days, we get our hour back. We're going to be doing a special Sci-Fi Center overnighter. It's going to be a particularly long one because I might start at a decent hour here, depending on how the day rolls out on Saturday. Saturday is the biggest day that of our week, and like I said, we're right into that time of year where it gets super busy. People start coming out, weather's better. So, but I do plan on doing a lot of streaming this week. Tuesday or Friday afternoon, or roughly around 2 or 3 or so, we're going to do our regular Patreon stream. If you'd like to join the Patreon, the link is in the description, but I'll also put it in the chat as well. Patreon Sci-Fi Center. I hate this new Patreon logo though; it looks goofy. There you go. It is in the chat. We're going to do a Patreon stream. So if you're a Patreon, you'll have access to that. Then we'll do the movie club one on 2:00 Saturday afternoon. We're going to do Seven Samurai Kurosawa. So, and like I said, I've always been a fan, but one of the main reasons we are doing this is as we head into Rebel Moon, this is my personal opinion, I see the influences of a Kurosawa in Rebel Moon, and I want to see what you guys think. And plus, I think it's good filmmaking structure. A lot of directors, George Lucas, Quentin Tarantino, have been influenced by his work. So let's watch some stuff and see what you guys think. See if you guys see the influences. And later on that evening, I just don't know when we are going to start, but we are going to do a special party. We get our hour back, fall back and stay back party. Fuck daylight savings. So we're going to do that. And we got a couple other movies on the horizon that we'll do, but we're going to be doing a lot with the Patreon, a lot with the YouTube channel this weekend, as long as I can integrate it into what we're actually doing with the store. So have fun with that, and like I said, I hope you guys have as fun with that as I am. If you're watching from the Sci-Fi Center proper channel, please like and subscribe and share. If you're watching from Enosh's channel and you're coming from my channel, switch over there real quick and give him a like and a subscribe. I'm on his network tonight, someone because, like I said, until he gets back, I just wanted to let people know that the network is still there. We will be doing stuff at some point in time, with the Poindexter Lounge. I just don't know when. I know it's going to happen, but like I said, let Enosh do his thing, live his life, have his fun. Got his new girlfriend, shopping for toys, doing plays, just regular stuff. So there's nothing wrong with that. It's nothing wrong. Come back when it's time for him to come back. But like I said, I committed to wanting to stream enough on the Poindexter Lounge to still let people know that it's out there, because we are a part of the Poindexter Lounge as well, even though we have our own channel. So, all right. So there's the Patreon channel right there. If you would like to support the show and you're on the Sci-Fi Center channel, the tip link for Streamlabs is glued to the top of the chat. So, speaking of chat, let's say hi to my adoring public. How are you doing, Spider-Man? Thanks for always being here. Thanks for being faithful. Chappie, what's going on? Slash up. There you go. He's in the spirit. Slash the like button. Do I have it on here? Yes, I do. There you go. There you go. I am gonna upgrade this. But right now it is what it is. So yeah, like, subscribe, do all that stuff. Let's see. I know we're gonna end up talking about the strike. A lot of people were giving me, a lot of optimism today. It looked like the strike was going to be over here soon enough. Everybody I was watching Campia. Campia thought it might even happen, while he, before his broadcast. He thought there was a chance there. But I read the stuff, and it's very, 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 hey, I'm live. How about that? So Wow, it's giving me all the notifications. Been on the air for 7 minutes now. But yeah, this whole strike nonsense. It just looks like I don't know when it's going to end. If I woke up tomorrow and it was over, I wouldn't be surprised. If I woke up tomorrow and they said we're going to go ahead and scrap the rest of this year, I wouldn't be surprised. All I know is I want it to be over because, believe it or not, there are things that this strike is damaging that that we don't even know about. I mean, there's probably things on the planning table, some really cool things that are getting moved back, getting pushed around. We don't know because we haven't got that kind of foresight. It sucks. Like I said, it already cost us Dune. It already, it's causing things to be moved and shift, and it's going to cause movies to underperform because some of these guys can't wait a year from now or whatever to release it because of financial situations and some of the borrowed money that their films are making on. So they're going to get shuffled into what's going to be a very, very, very crowded summer blockbuster season. And that's why I think that Dune, even though they've said March 15th, trust me, I really don't think Dune is going to make a. I don't think there's any reason to put Dune out on March 15th. Dune is an Oscar-worthy, Oscar-competing movie, in my opinion. Just judging from the first one and just judging from what the second one was looking like, it's an Oscar-worthy movie. You generally, very rarely do they release Oscar movies that far away that they know that they're going to be in consideration. So I see Dune moving to November of next year. It sucks, but I think that's going to happen. The only movie that I can think of, you guys might know in the chat, that I can think of that would be that has been released that early and was a one a lot of Oscars was Silence of the Lambs. It was released in January of 1991, almost a full year before it was nominated. So who knows? How you doing, Anthony Beltran? What's going on? Larry, what's going on? Happy Halloween to you as well. Happy Halloween, Chappie. Beltran, what's your opinion on SAG-AFTRA releases a statement confirming that while the key issues still need to be resolved, talks have been productive and they will meet? That's a vague statement. I don't know what to take about. The optimist in me hopes that means that we're close. When I wake up tomorrow, we're gonna have a deal and we can start getting some of these movies and getting some of this backlog out the way. But the pessimist in me, the one that they pretty much made right this whole time, is saying that that's a little bit ambiguous. I need a little bit more. I need this done. All right, the big hurdles remaining said are the use of it. Well, that's the thing, the big hurdles remaining are said to be the use of AI and residuals. Those were the largest ones to begin with. From the start of this whole thing, those were the two biggest issues. So if that's a remaining hurdle, that's the two biggest hurdles. So I hope they have made some mileage and made, but it's not like we're talking about other issues that have popped up. These were the two biggest issues from the get-go. So if those are the two ones that be resolved, I don't know where we are with this thing. What do you think, Bradley?
Yeah, because I sent you that latest stuff. Is my sound up?
Yeah. You could be a little bit louder, but I know you're probably under the sheets because mom and dad,
I did send you that latest update where it was about the SAG statement that said we're still divided on key issues, and like that said a lot to me.
Come down a little bit. You overcompensated.
Yeah, so they said we still have a lot of work to go on key issues, and that kind of said to me, I don't know, the disparity between the reporting on it and then when they give a statement on it, it's just it's like, I'm with you. It's like it could end tomorrow, it could end next year. I mean, but I'm kind of leaning towards next year with what SAG themselves had to say about it.
I just don't I understand, but I'm like, well, why? My question is why was everyone so optimistic about?
Yeah, because the reporting was like they're popping champagne. So I don't get it either.
And I was like, yeah, okay, let's do it. I mean, are we? This is what we're going to is this where we're at? I mean, is this over with? I mean, are we going to? I'm looking to come into this Saturday night for the first time, celebrating not only getting the undoing the
That
was
would
my
be
hour.
a champagne stream, yeah. If we had the SAG strike end and daylight savings time end, yeah.
So yeah, I just don't understand it, but that's where we're at right now. Like I said, there's a whole bunch of other stuff that what else happened today besides like the strike is the big thing, but like I said, right here, those were the biggest issues from day one, minute one. So
yeah, if that says to me, if they're still not on the same page on that, then I mean it's like, I mean that really tells you something about like how far they still have to go, unfortunately. And I was on a Film Junkies patron stream last night, and of course the strike talk came up, and one thing I mentioned is like, yeah, I think next year it's like, theaters, my God, they're going to be suffering so. It's going to be like COVID without COVID. They're going to have to do like re-releases of Fathom events and things like that because the calendar next year, I mean, it's just going to be. I don't even know what it's going to look like now. And like you said, you don't even think Dune is going to come out in March. They're going to bump back to November next year.
All right, I guess a case can be made for Dune coming out in March because you spent a lot of money on it. It's borrowed money. You don't want to, the interest is building on your borrowed money. You want to get it out there. I can understand that. But if I'm Legendary, I think it's Legendary. If I'm Legendary, if I'm Warner Brothers, if I'm all these guys, what's worthless? What do I want? Do I want to make the front-loaded springtime money, or do I want to not only make the money but be in that Oscar conference? It's really hard to win an Oscar. And when you win them as a company and a production company like Legendary and Warner Brothers, they're held in high regard. I really think that they're going to push that to November. But like I said, I mean, you push it to if it's March, it's March. The sooner for me, the sooner the better. I would be okay with if they came to a damn deal tomorrow, dude, and put it back on the damn 17th. Put everybody on the couch on Fallon and get all the interviews up. But I understand the business reasons why we can't do that. That's it. I understand.
Another thing with that too is that because I was looking at the 2024 calendar earlier, and there's also a case to be made like something as big as Dune. I mean, whether it's spring or fall next year, I mean, it could be like it could practically have the market cornered in terms of like being a big tentpole.
But if I'm.
But it's like later in the year, as you've said, then you're like you've got that. Plus, you're also adding in the Oscar prestige.
Because I'm going to make my money with it. I think Dune is going to make its money regardless to where it's released. I think it would make its money in Dune, but I'm thinking. But if I can get both the hold on. Oops, I did not. Oops, hold on. I got to pull this up. If I can make my money and get my Oscar buzz, why not? Oh, by the way, Film Junkie, you bum! Stop holding these damn things on Sunday, man. I can't do Sunday. I like it when he does it on Saturday night. I can actually be there.
Yeah, I think he had mentioned that his schedule got a little bit whacked out this weekend, so that's why I ended up being on. It was kind of compensating for the lack of a vodka stream because he had a family thing. I think is what he mentioned.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he didn't do a vodka stream. Okay, yeah, and then he got combined it or condensed it. He did
pretty much
a half vodka stream and a half beer stream.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, and then he right after that did the Superman animated. And yeah, I think he mentioned it was there was a family event, and he just that happened, and that just kind of took a lot out of him, so he ended up pushing it to Sunday.
Because he's old now, he's one of us. No, I wanted to go on. It's been a while since I've been on his beer stream. I'm shadow banned from the vodka stream. I'm never getting on there. So I mean, the beer stream is as close as I'm getting. Yeah. What else went on today? I know you were on Twitter going at it with somebody because you sent me the thing. What did you do? What man? You get into some shit.
Well, I didn't really go. What did I? Well, it wasn't with that gentleman that I've had some past altercations with, but
okay.
Well, it was mostly just because there's been a lot of consternation within the fandom around the Israel-Palestine conflict and with specifically relating to Zack Snyder and Gal Gadot and statements they've made on it, which some are interpreting as as like overtly anti-Palestinian or pro-Israel, and that's just, it's really disheartening to see that, because I don't think either of them have done or said anything objectionable. And so, I
I've
mean,
read
and
everything both of
especially,
them have said. Read everything
yeah,
both of them have said.
well, there's also that one video with Gall that's the kind of dovetailing with her, the interview comments she's made. She also had one where she posted something on her Instagram that was kind of trying to bridge the divide between Israel and Palestine. That she got some backlash and had to take that off. And one thing I've said, I don't think people really appreciate the tough spot she's in, because she's the most famous Israeli on earth. So,
and I don't appreciate the fact that she lives there. She lives there. If you've ever been to the Middle East, if you go to certain areas of the Middle East, and especially, I mean, there's before 2001, they lived side by side. As for the most part, you had your extremists, and that's what we see over here. We see the extreme of either end over here. We don't see, a lot of, for the most part, the shops and the businesses are interdependent on each other. A lot of these hard borders that have been set up have hurt the economy on both sides. I mean, for the most part, I talk to people who live over there all the time. I have friends all over the world that I met throughout the army, and the conversations I'm having with them and and what I see on the news is two different things. But when you hear it from someone who lives there, when you hear somebody who lives in the region talking about bridging the gap between, the person who lives there is usually not going to be the one that heads towards the extreme for the most part.
Yeah,
those people don't make the news. The reason why Gal Gadot's making the news with what she's saying,
she's Gal Gadot.
But there's a lot of people that just want to have to live a normal lives side by side. They don't want to, especially the newer, younger generations that are 40 and younger. They just don't have the grip on this stuff. Is a lot of the extreme or left or right wing over there do. So, and she's in that age group. So I mean, and even if you don't agree with her,
but she's also, I mean, she's just in such a unfortunate position, because it's like, I mean, she's literally like in a lot of ways, like she's the avatar for Israel, just to the general public. And it's like, no matter what she says or does, on this topic, she's going to piss somebody off.
Well, and the people that are being pissed off, in my opinion, listen, no one over there is monolithic. There is no blanket assertion that you could give Palestinians or Arab that live in the region. There's no one thing. They're not monolithic. There's different points of view and different everything's over there. And the Israelis, there's no monolithic view of Israelis that you can give. There are lots of different opinions. There's a lot more complexity to the political situation over there. It's one of the most complex situations in the world. So, I mean, there is no such thing as someone who represents all of Israel. There's people who live there that have opinions, just like there's people who live in the United States. We're not monolithic. Hell, you've seen what we've gone through. Government works that way to the point where the government makes the news, but the people who live in all this don't always make the news. She did, but like I said, I think we've gone to the point where we can't respect someone's point of view when it comes to these things, to the point where it goes to DEFCON. And it's not just this situation. We've gone through it just in pop culture. I mean, how many times have we turned a fucking turkey into people unfriending? I legit have people screaming on each other on a stream and blocking each other over Zack Snyder putting a turkey on the table.
I think I've seen that one. But I mean, we got Turkey Day coming up, so he might do that again. I'm looking forward to him potentially doing that again.
But we couldn't have a fun conversation about that.
But the fact that he had Final Crisis behind it, yeah,
we couldn't explore the possibility of a Netflix situation without people getting stupid about it. Even though, oh, by the way, the Netflix situation, there's something else I meant to address like a year ago or whenever this first happened.
Okay, take us a bit off of Palestine and Israel at war. Yeah, because that just
there will never be a buy Netflix movement. Period. It will never happen one way or another because it can't. It's just never going to happen.
So you mean like WB buying Netflix?
Or no, as far as like sell Snyder thing to Netflix, that would never happen. And you know why it would never happen? And I should have brought this up. They're never going to do that simply because they don't have to. Any production, see, Warner Brothers was one of the ones that's not just the studio; they're the distributor. And they own the distribution rights and the IP. Anybody, Netflix, Legendary, anybody can come to them and say, we want to do this movie. And they just have to say, yeah, there's no selling necessary. It's there to distributor. Now, the key example that I brought up when I was talking to somebody the other day, Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah.
Blade Runner 2049 is a Warner Brothers movie, but they didn't make it. It was Sony and Columbia that made it. Warner Brothers was the distributor. So it was a Warner Brothers movie, but Sony and Columbia, they made the movie, they got the money together, but Warner Brothers made their money, or just off any movie, they make their money off the distribution. And so when everybody says, well, how would they make money off of that? As a distributor, they're one of the few people in the game that are going to make their money, because wherever it gets distributed, whether it be on DVD, Blu-ray, anywhere it goes, any platform, they are the distributor. So it doesn't matter who Netflix could make that movie, and it would still be a Warner. They would never have to sell anything. That's
Zach,
what?
Please post another turkey soon so we can just start nerding out again on that.
Well, and the funny thing about it is, when that whole conversation that never came up. The fact that Netflix would not need to do that. WB would never need to sell any of their IPs. They're never going to. They would just either license it out, or they would let that studio do it. That studio, just like Sony and Columbia, whoever does it gets the lion's share of the money, but they're the ones taking the biggest risk. So the distributor gets their money off the top. So they're the ones, like, they don't spend the majority of the money. They make their money off the IP and the distribution rights. That's the cool thing about being Warner Brothers when you're doing it right, is that you can have Legendary, you can have these other companies come in and make the movies. It's still a Warner Brothers movie.
Hey, listen, everybody, right here, what just happened too, when we also had this on the last patron stream, when Rhea was also sharing her thoughts on it. You know what just happened there that was really cool about the whole Cell Snyder versus Netflix thing? Nobody bit each other's head off on that. That was so awesome.
Nobody made fun of anybody. That was the thing that just really bothers me sometimes, is when these things come up, people think they need to make fun of somebody. And most of the people who are doing the making the fun of are just as dumb as anybody. So it's like, you did not analyze that whole situation. Like I said, I mean, even then the likelihood is probably nil that would happen, simple because if the idea is that cool,
you would say do it in house. Yeah,
I'm gonna keep that in house. But yeah, you had a couple. You're on Twitter, like, so you seem like a docile guy, but man, you're a shit star. Right?
No, well, I mean, it's just, I mean, sometimes you just. I mean, I turn the other cheek most times, but I mean, it's like, and today wasn't like a fighting day. Again, that fine gentleman I've run into a couple of times, that wasn't him today.
Yeah, and that one I was following you on there. I'm like, you needed to get out of that, because that one guy was not the numbers dude. That guy was never. There was nothing you were gonna.
That wasn't today. That was when I posted that was like 5 days ago, where I said, it's like, oh, it was in relation to somebody posting about they didn't like BVS, and I said something they've had to. Isn't it crazy how Snyder fans are the ones being told to move on constantly, and the commenters came in forced to prove my point for me. So
now, yeah, and I understand that you got an element of fans that just go completely crazy. You're gonna have that everywhere, but the vast majority of us are just like, you know what, we're disappointed. But the obsession is not with the people coming after us. That's what I always found astounding, is like, you came to us, you jump into our chats, you jump into our whatever. You're like stalkers. You're stalking a victim, and then you're like, you're crazy, but I'm stalking you. I'm like, okay, sure.
That one guy in particular, yeah. But today's again the big thing this wasn't as heated, but which is interesting considering the situation in the Middle East. But it was kind of focused on that, and it's like I was trying to put out a few, but it was mostly pretty civil conversations. It just,
I saw that.
It's like, can we just go back to speculating over turkey videos, guys, and looking forward to Rebel Moon?
It's a complex situation, but here's the thing: where no matter what side you fall on it, as long as you do some history on it, you just look it up. There's more to this whole thing than what you're seeing on a news.
Oh yeah, it's I mean the most Gordian knot, like, geopolitical situation you're ever gonna find.
and don't just dismiss anyone's opinion about it, to be honest with you, especially people who live there. I mean,
don't presume people are monsters for holding what you consider the wrong position on it either.
I mean, I've been all over the world. I've got a chance to meet different people. I've got a chance to kind of experience a little bit how they live, but I don't stay there. So it's like, to me, it's like, the whole thing is polarizing. But I think I think like I said before, don't let your opinion become hate.
Yeah, and that's very important. That is very important.
What I'm seeing across my country. I don't live in Israel. I don't live in Palestine. I live in America. What I see going on as far as the anti-Semitism and all that, fuck that.
Yeah, that's getting scary too. Yeah. I
don't care what your political views are. I don't care what your views about religion are. I don't care whether you're an atheist, agnostic, I don't care. I have been to the countries where you had to be afraid of that. I am a person of color who is a believer and an optimist of the American idea. It is an American idea, and Reagan said it back when he left office. America is an idea that anybody can come from anywhere in the world and you can be an American. You can't go anywhere else and be that way. It's an idea. Even with the civil rights era, even with this slavery, even with everything that we've been through, the Constitution and the idea of America, everything revolves and gravitates back to that. We got the civil rights era. We got 14th Amendment. We got 10th Amendment. We got all these things because we held the country accountable to its ideas. And if you do that, I don't care if you're Jewish, I don't care if you're Arab, I don't care what you are. If you're an American, you should be putting on your turban, anything you want to put on in this country, and you should be able to walk from here to there without fear of anything. And that aggravates me. Like I said, don't care what your opinion is, period. I don't care who you support, anything else. You should be able to do it. You should be able to say it and get up, leave your table, and walk safely to wherever the hell it is you're going. That's it.
Let's give William a standing ovation for that.
Well, and the fact that there are Americans, Jewish Americans, Arab Americans, any American living in fear for being the thing that the ideal of the country is. That's literally what we are. Look, even for better or for worse, somehow we found our way to this. And like I said, I've been to places where I wouldn't want to stay overnight because of their political situation. We have a lot of problems. I'm not being naive, but I'll take here. I'll take here over anywhere else in this world. I will take here over any other place on this globe. That's not just words I say. I put on a uniform and was willing to come back in a box if that was what was necessary. My dad did it. My grandfather did it. 13, 14 other Powells and Clark's family, did it. Yeah. We bought into the idea. We took a look at what the country, and like I said, if you're black in America, it ain't always been cool. But the idea of America, the optimism of America, and it's not a perfect country, but the idea of it is. And if you continue to aim towards that idea, that's where you're at. And when I'm watching, people I have a senator here in Nevada, Jackie Rosen, getting death threats. Because that's not, like I said, without even getting into the discussion, that is an American citizen. That is a literal representative of the people. He's a freely elected person getting death threats. We've had presidents that I did not like, but I never wanted anything to happen to them. Why? Because the people put them there, and when it's time, November, every 4 years, the people can take them out. That's the system we have. We're not barbarians. So that probably out of all this has upset me. The fact that we have, especially my country, I can't control what's going on 10,000 miles away. That's up to other governments to handle. But right here in America, I wouldn't
be surprised.
Greatest country on earth
right now.
What's up?
I wouldn't be surprised if Gal Gadot's getting death threats now.
I would be surprised either. But and you can't have a non-caveman discussion without threatening somebody, hating somebody like that. What she was saying, like if you want to hate terrorism and innocent people getting killed, no problem. That's universal as far as I'm concerned. But when it gets to the nuts and bolts, and now we start getting into different points of view, come on. It's not that. But like I said, I don't think in my perfect world, If you live in a first world country, you should be able. We have a constitution. We have the First Amendment. I don't have to like what you say, but I damn sure would pick up a weapon or anything else I could do if somebody was coming after you just because you said it. I don't care what it was. I just don't want to set the precedent of we can't have discussions and people can't have opinions and people can't have a religion or wear a symbol of your religion. There are people I know that can't even wear the symbol of their faith because they're afraid for their lives. In America, I've been to those countries where that was the case. Not here. That should not be, and I know it is the case. I know it happens. But once again, the idea of America, the closer we get to that, the lesser tolerance I have for this stuff. So yeah, and that's anything. But when we talk pop culture, that's why when we talk pop culture, I try to keep the conversation light.
Yeah. But even though that's the scary thing that this is bleeding into talking about pop culture now.
Yeah. But if you look at it, it's the same dynamic. It's people overreacting, people looking for a reason to lash out and hate somebody or hate something, whether it's Snyder or anything like that, or DCU or anything like that. Obviously, there are different degrees of hate and danger, but it's still, the mentality is still there. I mean, you know, are we intellects or are we Cro-Magnons? I mean, what are we? Can we sit and carry on a conversation over some coffee or tea, or are we too stupid? Do we have to flip over the table and storm off, dragging our knuckles away? And that is pop culture. That's comic books. I mean, I've always put myself in situations where if I can't have a conversation with you, I can't be in the vicinity of you. It's just not, it's that simple. We don't have to agree on comic book. I damn sure we don't have to do that, because I would sit hours on end in comic book stores with people I didn't agree with for hours. And I didn't come there to agree with them necessarily. I came there to learn from them. I came there to get their point of view instead of sitting and by myself with my own thoughts. That's the point of interaction.
Now everybody here, just to be clear, everything William has said does not apply to anybody who likes Howard the Duck.
No, because if you like Howard the Duck, you're pretty much a digit. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, just being facetious there, guys. Adding a little levity to it, but to take it with the comment. Yeah, it is crazy, but with the comment, Daniel's comment here, yes, month away. I mean, that is much more pleasant news. Is that we're
a month away from Rebel Moon. I
want to get a new trailer.
When we're getting the trailer?
During the Netflix Geek End, I think is what it's called, the event that's coming up. Yeah, there's my big things for that are Rebel Moon and the Netflix Avatar show. Those are my big things I'm really anticipating from that, and hopefully get an Avatar trailer too.
People are losing their minds over this Avatar thing. I just don't. I don't get it. I know what it is, but I'm like, not me.
Yeah, because I love everybody show, and the first time it was done in live action, it was the Howard the Duck of Avatar.
Yeah. Now I do know about that, but it's like Five Nights at Freddy, man. And listen, I'm in pop culture, and I didn't know Five Nights at Freddy 138 million, and it's on Peacock. Like what?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's definitely a validation for the whole the hybrid release strategy. Which, I mean,
Jason
he's grinning somewhere right now. Yeah, it's not even his studio.
Yeah, and so I wonder he got this, man. How you doing, Aaron? My favorite Australian, Larry Kokorowitz. Daniel said, "How do you, Toothy Galore? I need a countdown on when you're going back to fourth. I never thought 4,000 would be. This is ridiculous. How you doing, Nicotina? What's going on?
What's up, Andre?
Jacob McKenzie, Andre's here. Okay, Andre, what's up? Happy Halloween, everybody! Yes, it is Halloween.
Yes,
Ghosty Visitor, what's going on?
I'm taking my nephew trick or treating tonight, so for that,
I think I'm gonna go trick or treating for ramen. I don't need any candy. Do you have any ramen? Press the like button. Let's see, man. I just realized I hadn't subbed to your channel. My bad. Well, hey, never too late, man. It's never too late.
Yeah.
A lot of people didn't really know I had one, and because, like I said, a lot of the good portion of people only saw me on Point Extra Lounge. So yeah, we got.
I'm noticing the audience on this every stream is the reach and the viewership. We really seem to be building up. So we're I think I speak for William and myself and say we're definitely very appreciative of that. How much our audience is growing here.
It's growing, and what I like the most about it is, the numbers are great. Obviously, you saw 17,500 views on my little old choo-choo train of a channel, but I'm getting the hang of this. I'm feeling a lot more comfortable with when I used to rewatch our shows, man. I rewatched some of our shows like from a year ago when I first. Oh my goodness, it looked like I was in a bomb shelter. The sound was bad. I was using the microphone, but I guess telling people I was using the microphone.
Now you're on, and now you're on the planet Oa with the Green Lantern ring behind you.
Yeah, or I can change it. I can go red alert if I want to. I can go blue alert. I can go purple rain. Look at that, or I could just straight up, This is probably the coolest one for the main reason being is because this is the one where the belts look the best. Because the gold shine, you see the John Cena in my big gold up above there, my U.S. title. Both of those are signed by Jay White. So you wrestling fans, Jay White signed both of those belts. My goal is to get Ric Flair to sign that top one. That's my bucket list. So when he comes out to Vegas,
you got Todd McFarlane to sign a comic. So I mean, it's like that's
yes.
a back-to-back one.
I'm gonna do it. I wish I would have filmed that. I wish I would have filmed. I was running around, but I wish I would have. I wish I would have filmed that because his assistant. And if you watch the doc, there's a documentary on Todd McFarlane, and the woman who helped me out, her name was Shannon Bailey. She helped me get that.
He's always a real character in interviews, Todd McFarlane.
Yeah, he took a lot of risk. And there's a lot about him I didn't realize. But all right, William, what do you? Hey, William, what do you? I want to ask you. What do you think you could get a writer Phil Hay on the channel for a possible interview? I would love to interview him. Everything's a possibility. You got to realize, sort of a YouTube nobody, chappy. So
I'm still getting it because I've pretty much only started doing YouTube stuff myself within the last year, and I have like from childhood just have this camera phobia. I'm still working past. That's why you see my avatar instead of my face right now. It's like I'm working with the guys. It's like I'll get on camera at some point, if not
which is ridiculous.
Hopefully next year.
Who is on camera? Look who is on camera. Me. If I can get on camera, and I've seen what Brad looks like. Well, basically, he looks like he does on his picture. I look like an upright walking reptilian. I'm all right with it. So but everybody's
in there.
When is daylight savings? I'm glad you asked that.
Yeah, yes, because that's going to be the topic of Saturday, basically.
That's going to be we'll have our normal topics, but we're going to have a party. I'm going to have cake. I'm going to have a little noisemaker. I'm going to have a hat. I'm going to wear a hat. I'm going to have the hat and everything. We're going to celebrate Fall Back this Saturday night. So it's Sunday morning at 2:00? Well, we're going to be on the air. We're going to be on there, and we're going to go back. So it's going to be a really long show. So I'm building this show up. This is going to be the longest show we've done, by the way. So pack meal, party with me. Pre-game, get hammered, do whatever it is, smoke your bowl, do whatever it is, because we're going to time travel. We're going to be on the air when I get my hour back.
And that's also coming after the Seven Samurai stream, so it's like that's probably like that's gonna be a long period of streaming between those 2 days.
Well, what I've done with this show and with this channel is I've integrated it to what I do. So it kind of like it's seamless. It's literally
it's an extension of the actual Sci-Fi Center.
It's like the show, like I said, that's why it's called Sci-Fi Center Presents. I mean, it is. When you see me on YouTube, you are experiencing part of the Sci-Fi Center. So that's a good thing. But how you doing, Antonio Baker? Clinton had to come in there with the damn duck again.
Yeah.
Jacob McKenzie. Wow, this is as long as you've gone, Jacob, without hitting me with about 10 of them. What we thought on Emma Tammy was reportedly paid $500K upfront to direct Five Nights at Freddy's, but her contract includes a deal where she'll receive a percentage of the film's product.
She's going to make a lot of bread off of that then.
Yeah, and then she gets residuals too. So yeah, you know what? Like I said, this movie, Blumhouse continues to do this right. And once again, an example of that whole distributor thing. Blumhouse is not the distributor. Blumhouse is the studio. Universal is the distributor. So they're going to get paid too. So there you go, man. And I don't know. I wouldn't call it an independent movie. It's a pretty big movie, but like I said, the video game. I'm doing my research on it.
I saw he left that comment like right before I came on, and he left one down here a little right after I came on and said, I must have heard that he was typing on his keyboard when he typed that. So perfect timing.
Yeah. You're going to be taking your nephew. I know who your nephew is, Brad. It's you.
Oh God. No, I actually do have a 10-year-old nephew. I'm thinking of the all truth here. Him and my sister. So be doing that.
Hey, listen, man. I'm not going to judge you. You're a youngster. Be young. Don't grow old before it's time. End up like Film Junkie and me. William Thought and Francis Lawrence says they are all batting around ideas for Constantine 2, adding that it will be very rated R. Of course, I mean,
go for it, man. I would imagine also because now the writer's strike is over. I mean, it sounds like the way he's putting that, it's like the way he's said it's like it's almost like he would preface that by saying, since the writer's strike ended, now we really have the freedom to do that.
All right. Wow, dude. Yep. Jacob, you started slow, but here you come. William Thought on Nick Pizzolatto is set to direct and write a horror movie for Blumhouse Production. Well, that's a good start right there. He describes it as an occult detective story. Okay, I'm already in. I don't even need to be the second part of your question. Don't forget he was a creator, writer, and executive producer of the HBO Crime. Yeah, True Detective. I know he is. Yeah, you have everything you need for success right there. You have everything you need. How you doing, Aztec? A long time no see, man. Wow, it's been a couple of days since I've seen you. I know you because you got that bright green masking that just catches my attention. William Thought on Paramount is making the Max movie based on the Wildstorm comics. Crystal Mazel will write and direct Channing Tatum. When you say the Wildstorm comics, are you talking about the Image? What is? It better be the first 6 or 8 issues of Image. I gotta look into that. I think there needs to be a Max movie. We discussed this when we made the Max our target or one of our topics of the Turning Point stories. I thought that's good to hear. I heard Darth Vader was on that stream.
Yeah, that was he was had his Darth Vader helmet on the Film Junkies Patreon.
Oh yeah, I did see that. He didn't have the dome one, but he had the hat on there. So yeah, because I got a chance to watch it a little bit. I was gonna.
He got the whole thing except for the dome on. They said, "Oh, no, put your cap on because this will be like like casual Batman and like what was it like? Like drunk Vader or whatever it was."
Yeah, Dave does some crazy stuff. Day of the Martyr. Yeah, Day of the Dead. We were gonna have a Day of the Dead festival, but I got too busy. William, what's your opinion on Expendables flop during its box office run? 16 million domestic worldwide. It just ran its course.
Yeah, but that hurt because it's like I'm like the target audience for this franchise, and that'd be the first two.
How are you the target audience for this franchise? How is that? I'm not even the target audience for this. My dad is.
It's my boys. It's Jet Li and Statham and Stallone and
yeah, but they're not carrying. It's Stallone. I mean, they're not the ones carrying the aura of the movie. It's the old guys that just do. And like I said, I just think they're not relevant. And I'm not saying old people aren't relevant. I just think that their time of relevancy that goes is that are they enough to
well, and also and then they had like half the cast gone in this new one anyway too. So yeah, so they have, but then they had like relevant guys, or like contemporary guys like Tony Jaa, Iko Uwais in this new one. But it's just the franchise that just ran out of gas. And
sometimes in Halloween and Friday the 13th, that's going to happen with them too. Eventually, sometimes you just gotta get things a break, and I think that's what happened there. Unless it's James Bond, because they've changed with it. They've changed. There's really no adjustment you can do with these these guys. You can add more people around them, but they're still the guys carrying the franchise. So, what's everyone's top 5 horror movies of all time? Okay.
Very topical, I suppose.
Yeah, The Thing. Alien. The original Halloween. That's 3 right there. Friday the 13th, Part 3 in 3D. One of the greatest. Oh man, that's 4. My 5th one, horror watch. Dude, there's so many, but usually the top 4. Man, number 5 is gonna be tough. Well, Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah, I'd say for me, this is gonna have this actually gonna have a lot of found footage on it because I love found footage. I'd probably say Paranormal Activity, Blair Witch Project.
This is Paranormal Activity is them getting a light bulb like this and a lens and think, everybody scream.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, yeah. I mean, it's perfect for the Blumhouse model because they can make these movies for $10. I would also say The Shining. Even though I know it's like Stephen King, has his issues, probably justifiably so, because it's really tweaks the book heavily. Especially for his
Doctor Sleep was actually more accurate.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. That one really bridged those two versions of it really well. My other two, I would say, this might take some thought here. As Paranormal Activity, Blair Witch, The Shining, Psycho, the original Psycho. I always loved that. That's like definitely Hitchcock's best in my opinion. And then after that, I would probably say I wasn't really scared. I might need to think about this for a minute and get back to you on the fifth one. I'll blurt that out. It's whisper in the middle of more questions, but go ahead and start pulling more questions. I'll add the fifth one.
Dada on our Guillermo del Toro describes his canceled Java film with Scarface and the Star Wars. You know what? I don't know if that would have flown, to be honest with you, because we had Book of Boba Fett, which is basically Scarface in the Star Wars universe, and it just didn't come together right, He says, "I just love monsters," and Java is basically the same shirt size. But yeah, I love him, man. But yeah, I don't know. I think we need to get out of this portion of the universe. Let's see what we got here. Halloween 1978, Lost Boys, The Omen 3, Fright Night 1, Scream 1996, and 1995. Oh, yeah, you got a couple of different sequels in there. I'd say if I had to add like a 5A or a 6 would be Exorcist 3. So let's see what we got here. People attacking my Michael Rapaport. Yeah. I mean, damn, people, calm down.
Yeah, I saw that too. It's like, yeah, it would be this. I mean, for the sake of the region, this war needs to end. But maybe just this online war, people chill the hell out on who you're going to publicly crucify for, whatever wrong opinion or wrong way they express their opinion on the Middle East situation is. Please, that's not going to solve this issue at all.
It's not helping at all. Some fans are very positive. Hard to find 100% positive fan base. Yeah, there isn't one. The series from, for example, as amazing fans, I've never seen anyone insult or mock each other. Yeah. Not only it's not necessarily our fan base. Sometimes it's these other people that just like decide that they want to get the click screwing with us. So
absolutely.
Yeah, it's telling the truth about what's happening. William, I changed my avatar. You know what, dude? Might have to ban you.
Oh, dear God. And you changed your avatar, but you changed it to the most, of all the things out of that movie.
Bestiality aspect of it. You went bestiality with it. That's just the absolute worst aspect of the movie. And you just went ahead. All right, William. Thoughts on David Hayter reprising his role as Naked Snake, a.k.a. Big Boss, in the remake of Metal Gear Solid 3. I don't. Bad. That's on you. When is Michael J. White coming? I don't know a lot about Metal Gear, so I'm the wrong person to ask. I'm sorry.
Yeah, again, I've interviewed Michael J. multiple times through different outlets I've written for, and it's like, again, it's not a matter of I just contact him and say come on the shows. I mean, there's different channels, and plus there's still a strike going on.
Yeah. Let's hold on. What's this? Okay, I'm going back to Africa. Been there. Nope. There are places in Africa that are cool, and there are places in Africa that are not cool. The political situation across the entire continent, including South Africa now, which was one of the more I wouldn't go back to Africa if you are not back to Africa. Go to Africa if you pay me. It's just not this is where I want to be. This is where I want to be, Cali. California knows how to party. In the city of good old Watts, in the city of Compton, they pop off rough time. You know what? When I was growing up in LA, there were Compton was ran down because you had the riots and stuff in the late 60s and stuff, and they never rebuilt it. But Compton was high end. Watts was an arts cultural. The Watts Towers was an art project there. What happened in LA? Crack happened in LA. I grew up in the area. We used to go to Crenshaw Plaza. We used to go all the places that were, became a war zone for a little bit. And it's gotten better now. It's, it's not like it was. And then, but once crack hit the street, guns grew up like potatoes in the ground. I mean, it just became such a violent atmosphere. And my parents decided to move out of there by that time. They just didn't want to raise us in that because it was too dangerous. But yeah, Watts, like I said, I know people who grew up in Watts and before it got crazy. Compton used to be its own city, had its own police department, and it just was.
Okay, and I got my finishing out my horror movie list because that's Paranormal Activity, Blair Witch Project, The Shining, Psycho, and then Wreck. Remembers Wreck? The one from. That was another favorite of mine. And then to kind of go off what you're saying, like a 5A or a 6.
RC, gotcha.
Yeah, I for a 5A or 6. I just had an article go up on this the other day. I think I would include a Sleepy Hollow, Tim Burton Sleepy Hollow.
Oh, yeah.
I really dug that. See, when it comes to horror movies, I tend to, it's like I do kind of gravitate pretty heavily to like the supernatural kind of angle of it. Hey, what's up, Ruth?
How you doing, Ruth?
I actually saw you the other when you were doing the stream the other night. She talked about the daylight savings times in the UK already happened. And you're like, oh, we're catching up. Don't worry.
Yeah, no, yeah, because we all need to get rid of that one. Do you have a plan for a Turning Point this weekend? Watching it. I'm not gonna do a live stream on it, but yeah, it's Impact. Yeah, I'll be watching Turning Point. I'm even gonna watch Crown Jewel, even though I pretty much know what's gonna happen in that pay-per-view. Listen, LA Knight. If LA Knight wins at Crown Jewel this out, because it's gonna be on 1:00, so I'll actually have that up on my screen while I'm watching it. If LA Knight wins that title, I'm going to be shocked as hell, but I'll also be pretty pleasant. I mean, pleasantly surprised. Don't think it's going to happen, but there you go. Let's see. Any thoughts on the rumors that say Ronda Rousey might? I don't know about that because I thought the reasons why she left WWE were for family reasons, but then again, it wouldn't surprise me. I know Will Ospreay is probably going to sign with AEW. And that's going to piss a lot of you. Oh, by the way, when it comes to fandoms, WWE marks, yeah.
But and Aaron, also, you might because you mentioned you're also the martial arts aficionado like me, and I actually see that in your photo there with you in the gi. When you mentioned Ronda Rousey, true story. I've actually interviewed both of her trainers from her UFC days. Gokor Chivichian and Gene LaBelle, who before he passed away. So I got to interview them a couple of years ago.
And what about Diana Lee Santos from?
Unfortunately, no. But I definitely would love to. And actually, Gene LaBelle, he's actually had quite a career in pro wrestling himself too.
Yeah, see, I told you. I know who Brad's nephew is.
Yeah.
Brad's going to get candy, and like I said, we're just people in the chat don't knock Brad for going to get candy. Sicario 3, baby. Yeah, the first two did very well. Let's see. William thought on David Fincher, Fight Club becoming a favorite amongst incels and far right group. Any group could take any money and do anything they want with it. I mean, I know people. I mean, there's been some classic movies out there, and you see people what they've turned them into. So
yeah,
he said, "I'm not responsible for how people interpret things." Yeah, he's exactly right. Tyler Durden is a negative influence. So yeah, I agree with him there. I actually met the gentleman who played Darth Vader, David Prowse. He was the Green Cross Code man who visited school and Okay, what's the Green Cross man? Let's see. Justice League is a horror movie. Yeah, like I said, right after AEW Collision, for some reason that shit was on my screen. So there you go.
Well, the thing about it too, like playing the real movie, is that because also it's 4 hours long, and then you do play these things on cable. They also a lot of the times they'll have that disclaimer that says that it's been edited for content, but also to run in the time allotted. So it's a lot of those times they'll cut scenes out for the cable version where you're not even like seeing the whole movie.
Yeah, and they needed to cut that entire movie out. When it comes to Compton. Yeah, Compton. I was in Inglewood and I was in Hawthorne, and then as it got bad, we started moving east. We started moving to San Bernardino County, Rialto, Moreno Valley, San Bernardino. I went to high school in San Bernardino, but when you're in San Bernardino County, you're still in the greater Los Angeles area. Your TV is still in LA. Ruth, William, and Brad, have you guys watched Totally Killer? Thoughts on it before? I have not. Have you, Ed?
I haven't either, but I've seen that kind of gaining some traction, so I might throw it on tomorrow, for Halloween night.
Yeah, I just remembered another movie other than Alien that freaked me out. Arachnophobia. Yeah, that movie, and it's sad because that movie probably led to entire populations of spiders just getting killed for existing.
Yeah. That is actually really because I don't, I'm not. Yeah, I kind of have a bit of arachnophobia, but man, that is like
that's better.
That's one that's like a centimeter away from an R.
Yeah, I don't even know how that's not an R because you see some of the grotesque kills in that movie. I no longer just automatically kill spiders when I see them now. If I can get away and get them out, if I can just get them out, get a cup or whatever, I'd rather do that. But I don't necessarily automatically kill them anymore unless it's a dangerous spider and I just try to get away from it, like a black widow or something like that. But yeah, that movie is up. No. All right, Turning Point as your comic book section.
Yeah, I was a little bit confused about that too.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Impact Wrestling's Turning Point because they filmed. That's actually an event that happened with Impact Wrestling. I am thinking about doing the greatest hero of them all, which is the Death of Superboy. I'm thinking about doing that one. That's what's one of the considerations. I did Gotham by Gaslight already. There's a couple of other ones that I'm throwing around in my head, but I want to keep it to stuff that really kind of like shifted the game, changed the game type of deal. I was thinking about doing Grant Morrison's Batman run too. That's another one I might do. So I got about 3 or 4 of them that I'm thinking.
If Zach posted in the Turkey video, by the way, it's like we got to do Final Crisis at some point because that was his pick. Yeah, so.
Yeah, Final Crisis is a tough one. That's a very confusing story because not only do you have to understand and follow what's going on with Final Crisis, the story within the 6 issues and all that was connected to it, you have to know what's being undone to even respect what's going on. You have to have an appreciation of what you're seeing again and what's being introduced and what's being realigned in order to really appreciate Final Crisis. So you almost have to torture yourself into experiencing Crisis in order to have an appreciation for what
it's Grant Morrison. Everything is always very layered with him.
Yeah,
and you'd pull up Chappie's real quick in because he said,
"What Chappie said?
Can't provide anything." Yeah. It's like, well, I mean, they kind of petered out a little bit towards the end there, but see, I've really found footage that kind of is my bag when it comes to horror. I also love the VHS series. Those I love the VHS, like VHS 94. My God, that might be my favorite one is VHS 94.
There's a lot of this. It's mainly just a preference. It's a preference. Hopefully, Killer can be nominated. Oh, Killer's going to be nominated for Best Picture. Yeah. What's the last Scorsese movie that didn't get nominated for Best Picture? Can you think of one?
Not offhand. Which, by the way, I'm sure you saw that whole exchange between, or like Joe Russo was like pushing Scorsese's buttons or something. Like, oh, my dog's named Oscar, but you don't have one, or something. I don't know, but it's get this huge end already.
Joe Russo doesn't have one. Yeah. Well, Martin Scorsese has one. He should have had a couple more. But all right. So, all right, guys. This was a Midnight Express. So this is really only supposed to go an hour. So I think we got all of our stuff out the way. Final Crisis references. So many things from early DC. A lot of Grant Morrison's Batman run makes so much. For instance, Batman and Zarina. I might do Son of the Beast. I might do Son of the Beast. That's a big pivotal one. That's literally how you got Damian Wayne, and that includes one of my favorite, not one of my all-time favorite Batman villain, Ra's al Ghul, and his daughter, which is portrayed very lamely when they finally got her on screen by an actress who could have probably done a way better job. An Academy Award-winning actress that could have done a better job as that character, and they didn't do anything with that character.
Well, it's like And actually, I mentioned this in an article I just had go up where it says like, I mean, I like Dark Knight Rises overall, but her death scene needs a lot to be desired.
Oh, I'm gonna pass out in the car and die. I mean, yeah, the Dark Knight trilogy. I'm sorry, guys, that's just the most overrated trilogy ever. Dark Knight Rises may be the most overrated trilogy ever. And it's become the Paul Bunyan of movies. You can't you come out and say that, people are like, "Oh, what are you talking about? Nolan is God." Like, no, not really. And not those three movies. Heath Ledger's performance in The Dark Knight carries all of those movies. When you look at those movies in retrospect, Heath Ledger's performance as the Joker carries those movies. It made The Dark Knight Rises money. If Heath Ledger doesn't do what he did in The Dark Knight, The Dark Knight is probably another $500 million movie, and The Dark Knight Rises is probably right behind that. There is no $1 billion last two of those movies. So, but like I said, Bane, I like. These are actors I like. I like Tom Hardy. I think he sucked as Bane. That voice is just so irritating. I almost had to get up and watch that.
You even suggested like a dream, like Elseworld scenario for the Snyder fandom. It's like Ben Affleck's Batman movie under Chris Nolan, which that would be amazing.
Yeah, that would be like like I said, do that as an Elseworld if you want to do something like that. And that's why I stress Elseworld, because I always run up against the whole move on crowd, and I'm like, first of all, you're just saying that because you're like a dog that I taught how to shake hands, basically. Most of the people who are always pushing you to do all that, it's just a trend for them. It's just a trend for them, and nobody's told me why. Why should I move on? Why shouldn't? If Nolan came to WP and said, Nolan said, "Hey, you know what? I want to take Ben Affleck's production company. I want to make a movie. We'll pay for it, and you guys distribute it. Why not? You distribute it as also. Oh, we got a Batman coming up. I'm like, but you know what? There's going to be a lot of people who don't like your Batman. There's going to be a lot. There's going to be a lot of people. Not everyone is going to like The Brave and the Bold. A lot of people won't. A lot of people will.
By the way, Andy Muschietti himself is precedent on that because he's got between The Flash and Brave and the Bold, he will have directed either in an ensemble or a solo movie like 5 different versions of Batman.
Yeah, so I mean, there are people who don't like the Batman. The Batman didn't make $1 billion. The Batman made $770 million. It did good money, but it didn't. There's still a lot of people who don't like Robert Pattinson's Batman, who don't like Matt Reeves' version. So I want their money too. See, I think people they're not greedy enough. They want to try either or, and I'm like, fuck you, take all the money. I got a Batman for you, and none of this. Oh, they'll be too confused. No. No, they won't. If you start putting out garbage, if you start putting out trash Batman stuff, people they won't get confused. They'll get turned off of that. That's what turns on. But if you keep them engaged with good Batman stories, Batman sells.
I wonder what the ratio is going to be on Saturday between like Elseworlds talk and Get Greedy talk versus see you later Daylight Savings Time talk.
Well,
which is going to dominate that stream?
Well, it's going to be the backdrop of the stream. It's going to be literally, like I said, I'm going to be in a party hat, and I'm going to have cake. I mean, that's literally going to be, that's going to be the backdrop of the stream. Now we'll have all our other topics. Like I said, we're going to talk, but you know what? I am no longer going to run away from Snyder talk. To be honest with you, I think it just fucks up the show because I'm trying to dodge and duck so that it doesn't. I know now how to speak. About these subjects without it dominating anything more or less than I wanted to talk. I mean, when we're talking about you cannot talk about the DCU without talking about the Snyderverse. You can try, you'll look fucking stupid, but you really can't. You can't. Talk, especially with it not being here yet. With us having to wait all this time. So when it comes up, when it's appropriate, like some of our comic book turning points are appropriate to bring it up. He is appropriate to bring up. He's about to release a major film on Netflix.
Yeah, that's the point of the 7 Samurai stream we're gonna do.
Exactly. So we have so that conversation right there. When we talk about that, it's a lot of it's going to come back to them. And I think what I was doing before is because I got so exhausted of it, not talking about it, but like talking to people who were, it was like trying to literally teach a Dalmatian to speak English. That's what it was. To some of these people, like, you Snyder people, you guys should move on, and you guys should do this, and why don't you just, how come you're not supporting Rebel Moon? Okay. It was like literally trying to teach a Dalmatian to speak in formed sentences, and it just got burnt out. It's like, we're too far apart. You're all you're doing is giving me talking points from the other stream that you watched. And that's all it was for a while. It's like I would watch some of these streams, and I would hear the people that would migrate from those streams and be like, oh, and I hear the same words. Look, I got a new word. Look at me. I can catch a frisbee in my mouth. Look, I can say reboot. Look at me. I no longer need to walk on all fours anymore. I got a new word, you know? And it's like, oh, I got a new philosophy. Look, I can roll over when you tell me to, because I can say move on, like all the other people I listen to.
I'll still gladly take that debate over all the vitriol over the Middle East situation, though. It's like I'd rather
that is, and like I said, sorry guys to even bring that up, but it kind of bled into the pop culture conversation we have, because now the people who are in pop culture are forming opinions, and those people are part of our spirit. I hope I didn't spend too much time on it, because there's nothing I can do for you on this show about it. There's nothing I can change your mind about on the Sci-Fi Center Live 90-point dictionary.
Yeah, we're supposed to be a respite from that.
Yeah, so and like I said, obviously there are going to be situations where we are going to have to bring it up. It is the world we live in, and some of our stars that are in some of the movies, believe it or not, American stars pay taxes, and they have the right to have an opinion, and they just happen to be in some of the movies we love too. So, but yeah, but it's just I think when it came over to the Middle East situation, you could take the subject out of it, and it comes down to either you have the intellect to carry on a conversation without taking it out of context and going overboard, or you don't. And like I said, we obviously the life or death issue is one thing, but blocking people over a turkey is just, is that any dumber? Getting into arguments over a turkey, obviously the consequences aren't heavy as global politics, but it's still stupid, and we still did it. So,
well, again, it's like I still hope he does post another turkey with a graphic novel behind it this Thanksgiving, because it's like, well, I mean, aside from like this time, yeah, let's dissect that without any of like the tearing each other's heads off about whether or not he's actually teasing any kind of restoration.
He's got to do it because he's a better marketer for his stuff than anybody
else.
Yeah. Terrifier, anything. I don't want to ever watch those movies again.
I don't know. I'm pretty. I can take a whole lot. It's like I don't think there's anything I'd really. I mean, but Terrifier, yeah, those are hard to get through. Those are like they don't know the meaning of the word restraint.
I think that's what messed up Fourth 1000's head. Dark Knight trilogy is better than Batman Person. No, it is not. The only thing that's better about in my opinion, the Nolan trilogy that's better is Heath Ledger's performance. That's it. I don't watch Batman Begins. It's not rewatchable for me. I don't watch the entirety of The Dark Knight. I watch Heath Ledger's scenes. And there's a whole bunch of other stuff I would rather do than watch The Dark Knight Rises, because I think it's a very good movie. So, but I can watch the Batman over shit. I can watch the damn Batmobile revving up more than I can watch anything in the Nolan series outside of Heath Ledger's Joker over and over again. I can watch the Batman. It's the best overall Batman movie, in my opinion. Even if he's not my favorite Batman, but that it's the best, most representative Batman movie that's been made. Yes, and if you understand the IP, if you're really close to the actual IP itself, then a lot of, the closer you are to that, in my opinion, I think you would agree. But I appreciate you spending some time on it. Yeah, like I said, we don't live in a vacuum, but the majority of our segue is going to be so that when you're looking at the news, you can go ahead and turn the TV off and you can jump on to us. But there are things that I will address. But if you notice, I address it in a way that doesn't matter what your opinion are. There are certain standards I think throughout the United States that should be the same no matter what the opinion is. Yeah, exactly. Safety.
one of them. So the world is crazy. Yep, the world is crazy. But hey, it ain't 1968. Boy, 1968. My parents told me about that year with a complete cluster. All right, guys. I think that's going to. Oh hell no. Aztec. You and Fourth are hitting up the same bomb. Batman Begins is the best. You laughing? Okay, I didn't even see the laugh. Anyone who is a Batman fan will tell you the same. Now I'm a Batman fan, and I'm telling you different. So, all right, guys, that's it. If I know I can get goaded into another hour, but I am kind of tired today, and I'm going to relax on Halloween because I've done all my Halloween stuff. But hey, like somebody in the chat just said, the world is a crazy place. And who knows what our breaking points are, to be honest with you. You can go from being okay to not okay real quick. The world has gone from being okay to not okay real quick. So do not be afraid to get yourself fixed. You would fix your dishwasher if it was spewing water all over your house. You would fix your car if it no longer worked. You would take your computer to a repairman if it doesn't. Fix yourself the same way you would fix all these material things, because all those things come and go, but you don't. And you don't need to, especially by your own hand. 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, 24/7. Call, text, chat. And if you're okay right now, keep it from when you're not and hand it to somebody who may not be okay today. Because trust me, everybody's putting on a great face. Everybody's putting on a smile, but not everybody is doing okay. I think we know that just from flipping on the TV. And when you're watching this stuff, you know, these things that are happening around the world can play on your psyche just as much as anything. They can add to a depression situation. If you're already predisposed to depression and you see these things happening on the news, you see the people dying, you see your celebrities dying, anything, all this stuff, just be careful how you absorb that stuff. Take everything in the context. And if you feel yourself being overwhelmed, there you go. You got the tool to use. All right, guys. Bradley, where can they find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter. You know, hopefully not getting trolled or arguing with anybody, but that's happened more lately than I usually like it to. But you can find me on Twitter and Vero, and occasionally on Facebook. You can find my writing on Kung Fu Kingdom and Screen Rant, and you can find me here on Saturdays and periodically throughout the week on Sci-Fi Center Live.
All right. Well, you can find me just by Googling me, but if you're already here, you already found me. So, all right, guys, have a happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween, guys.
If you don't dress up, just have a fun day. Untether yourself from all this BS and just have a fun day. Even if you don't go out and dress up, even if you don't go stealing candy, even if you just sit home and watch some horror movies, sometimes the little things is what makes this whole thing great. So I will see you. Don't know if I'll see you tomorrow. Who knows? But I'll try. All right, guys.